Welcome to 360 Degrees Thriving Kids Hub. Here you will find contents that nurture kids to be grounded in their identity, emotionally strong, and full of integrity, ready to impact their world. When a child knows who they are ready to impact the world. Join us on the journey.
Interesting and very, very important for us all, right? As empowered kids, we want to achieve our goals, right? We have so many dreams and say, oh, I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, I want to be the best soccer player, just like Mercy. Oh, I want to be the best, right? I want to be the number one, just like Serena Williams, Venus Williams, we want to be the best. Even in our class, we want to be known as the person who gets 100%, who get A's all the time in their science, in their geography, in their math, in their arts, right? That's who we want to be, right? We want to be successful. But yes, when we want to be successful, we also need to have a plan, right? How am I going to be successful? How can I achieve this success that I'm looking forward to? And that's why we're here today to discuss goal setting. Okay. And just a reminder, housekeeping rules, please raise your hands to speak and respect everyone's view. Stay focused and use high, not we. And our values, this is listening ears, kind mouth, positive attitude, humble heart, and helping hands. Okay. And last week, yes, I asked some of us if we've started implementing it. And I was so glad to hear that we are already implementing these values in our day-to-day activities. So please don't stop. Okay. It's not just a one-time thing. It's something you should incorporate into your daily activities. And so we're going to say our affirmation, and I want us to say with me, today is a new chance to grow.
Is a new chance to grow.
My brain is a muscle.
My brain is a muscle.
And I'm ready to learn.
I'm ready to learn.
I will lead with my heart.
I will lead with my heart.
And learn with my mind.
And learn with my mind.
I am evolving to be my best self.
I am evolving to be my best self.
Right. So remember, every day is a chance for us to grow, and we are evolving on a daily basis to be our best self. Let's give ourselves the chance to grow, to improve, to learn. Okay. So our objective today is to understand what a goal is, what's the importance of goal setting, identify at least one long-term and short-term goal, and then understand simple ways to achieve your goals. So I have an icebreaker. And I want us to tell me, what is something big you dream of doing or achieving? So I want us to share with me, what is something big you dream of doing or achieving? Thank you. Yes, you can put it in the chat as well. Okay, Creative Eri and Blessed Mo. You can unmute and share with us.
I dream to be a very great artist.
That's Creative Eri, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. You dream to become a very great artist whose artwork will be seen all over the world. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Wise David and Brave Deborah.
I think I want to become the best soccer player in the world.
You want to be the number one soccer player in the world, the best one. And I think they used to say the greatest of all time. Yes, you want to be the greatest of all time. That's a beautiful dream. Thank you so much. Organized Oluwakumi. If you've spoken, please put your hand down, okay? Organized Oluwakumi.
Okay, so I want to be like the best mathematician, like not only mathematician, but also good at mental maths.
You want to be the best mathematician, is that correct?
Yes, mentally and physically smart.
Oh, you want to be mentally and physically smart. That is so beautiful, right? Like, you can't be caught unaware. Once they ask you, once they tell you what you have grabbed it. I love that. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Yes. So good. Brilliant champion, Israel.
I want to become a doctor and a soccer player. And when I retire from soccer, I want to be the president of the USA.
Wow, that's a huge dream. I love that. You want to be the president of the United States, you want to be a director, and you want to be the best soccer player. That is so beautiful. Every one of you, you know what? That dream is achievable. It is really achievable. Okay. All right. What do I have next? I think Brave Deborah wants to say something. Okay, Brave
Yes.
Deborah. Okay.
I want to be the best ballet dancer.
The best ballet dancer. I love that. You see, it's beautiful dreams. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Brave Deborah. Okay, and I think Excellent Excel wants to say something. Excellent Excel, over to you.
I want to be the greatest mathematician, artist, and footballer. So when I retire from football, I want to be an artist, and I want to be a mathematician. I want to be a mathematician, and I also want to be good at English and spelling.
Thank you so much. That means you want to go for spelling bee competitions. I love the fact that you guys have a, you said?
I love spelling bee.
You love spelling bee. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love the fact that you don't have just one dream. You have so many, and you're like, once I'm done with this is what I want to do, right? That is so good. I love those big dreams. Okay. And I think Penny wants to say something. Okay.
I want to be a doctor.
You want to be a director. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. That's so beautiful. I see Wise David's end up again. Who wants to share?
Also forgot when I'm done soccer, I'll study the law and I'll be the Prime Minister of Canada.
Wow, so you want to study law,
I
right?
want to
Is
do
that
OCA.
correct? Or just Prime Minister?
First, I'll do soccer, then study the law, then I will become Prime Minister of Canada.
Wow, thank you so much. I love that. You want to become the Prime Minister of Canada. I love
Deborah
that.
wants to say something too.
Okay, Deborah.
I want to be a gymnasticer and a swimmer.
Oh, a gymnastica and a swimmer. I love all of this. I love your dreams. They are so beautiful. And you know what? There is nothing impossible for you to achieve. Everything you have said is doable. Everything you have said you can achieve. I love the fact that you already have a dream, right? You already have a dream and said, this is what I want to become. And you know what? Like I said, it is achievable because the Bible says, with God, all things are possible. Okay, so with God, you can become a gymnastician, an artist, number one soccer player in the world, the greatest of all time, a mathematician, a good speller who is known nationally as the best spelling bee participant, number one in the world that spells 1,000 words, at a time in 5 minutes. I love all of these dreams, right? And it is achievable. Thank you so much. It was good hearing from you all. And then we're going to go to our quote that says, big dreams start with small steps, right? We have all mentioned that we want to achieve, right? We have a big dreams, right? We already spoke about our big dreams. So I can see Active Terra and Faithful Tefes hand raised. You want to share something with us?
So this is active chat. So I want to go to Paris and be the Prime Minister of Canada. And now it's Faithful Tifa, and I want to learn about Paris and visit Paris.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful dream. And I can see Blessed Mo as well says, I want to be a doctor. That's so beautiful. You want to be a doctor. Active Terra says she wants to go to Paris and also be the Prime Minister of. You see, we have a lot of people who wants to be the Prime Minister of Canada. That's so beautiful. And Faithful Tifa says she wants to learn about Paris and she also wants to visit Paris. I remember, yes, you have to do what? You also need to know how to speak French, okay? You want to go to Paris, remember? They speak French as well. So put that in your list that you want to learn French.
Oui,
And
je
organize.
sais.
You said?
Oui, je sais.
You
On
just
sait le
said.
français.
Oh, wow. So that means you're already speaking French. I love that. That's so
Moi
beautiful.
aussi.
Thank you. Thank you. Remember, we raise our hands before we speak. Okay, don't just unmute. Remember to raise your hands. Then Organized Oluwakumi says she also wants to be bilingual. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. I see Creative Aries and up.
I also want to be a dancer and a gymnast.
Thank you so much. So you see, most of us have common goals. We have common dreams, right? Who we want to be, what we want to become, what we want to achieve. That's so beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Okay.
Excuse me. My
Okay.
sister also wants to say something too.
Okay, Blessed More.
I want to be a scientist and a gymnast.
Thank you. You want to be a scientist. That's so beautiful. And a gymnast. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I love that. Thank you. So now we're going to proceed. So, as I was saying, our quote for today says, big dreams start with small steps. We've already spoken about the dreams we want to achieve, who we're looking forward to become, right? Who we want to be, what we want to achieve, what we want to be known for, right? But just like you can see in the image here, this guy, right, is climbing a step, right? So big dreams starts with small step. When you're climbing a step, you don't just jump right to the top. You do what? You take one step at a time. And that's why you start from what? Kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, up until university, right? It's a step. There are foundations you need to lay. And that foundation has started from what? From your kindergarten, right? So big dreams, yes, we want to be a doctor, but they are built step by step. When something feels big, right? Oh, I want to be a doctor. It might be like, oh, I want to be a doctor. That's huge. But you know what? You have to do what? Take it step by step. And that's why you're starting small now, right? You have to learn the foundation of math, learn the foundation of science, right? And then it becomes what? You get to the place where you can then go to university, you begin to pick the needle, begin to assess patients, you go for your housemanship, and then you eventually own your clinic, right? So when you make a plan, then it becomes clear. When you make a plan, I want to be a doctor, then you write it down. And then when you write it down, you know what step you're to take now, the next one you're to take tomorrow, the next one you're to take the next day, right? So every effort you put into those steps that you're taking every day, they lead to something huge. That's what will help you. So when we are saying, what do you want to get better at, right? Write it down. It's not that we are kidding. It's not that we are joking. It's not that we want you to just write something down. But we want you to do what? To start from a small step. What can I do 5 minutes each day that will lead to what? To me becoming a doctor. And that's why you're going to school now, right? When you learn the foundations, you go through kindergarten, you study, you excel, grade 1, grade 2, you write your high school exams, then you are able to come into university, right? That's why some people who don't have a plan, or they don't take their dreams seriously, you see them not being able to progress to university stage because they had wasted their years. But as empowered kids, that is why we are going through this, so that what we can prepare ourselves for that big dream. Okay, so every action you are putting into your academics every day, when mommy says, okay, it's time for you to go and study, it's not a waste. Go and study for 10 minutes, go and study for 15 minutes. It's not a waste. Take it seriously because it is helping you. It is building a layer. It's like a building block to a big house. Let's assume you want to build a big house, for example. Do you just pick the house and just place it on? No, you have to start from the foundation. When you start from the foundation, you put the blocks together, you have the cement, the sand, and everything. That is what becomes the big house that you see. Let's use the common one we know, Lego, for example. When you see the big giant, let's say maybe an helicopter on the Lego box, you'll be like, oh, it's so beautiful. I want to buy it. You buy it, right? But then when you open up the box, it becomes what? Tiny pieces that you have to begin to do what? Put together. So those are the small steps. You put them together, and at the end, it becomes what? It becomes a giant helicopter that you saw that made you buy it. And that's what we're doing, right? You build it gradually, you lay those foundations, study every day, read your book, ensure you're getting your A's in your academics, right? In your tests, in your exams. And then you become someone that the schools, the universities are saying, I want him in my university. Harvard is beginning to pull you. Oxford is beginning to chase you and say, I want you because I see you're brilliant. You have these grades that we can't just overlook. You begin to see sponsorship coming from left, from right, people are willing to sponsor your organizations. Why? Because you have laid a good foundation and you are now a success. Okay, so big dreams start with small steps. Okay, and so when we say goal, what is a goal? A goal is something you want to achieve or accomplish, right? There are specific things that you want to achieve. Like we said, I want to be a doctor. I want to become a gymnast. I want to become the best artist in the world, right? So this goal, right, there are things that you're looking forward to achieve. This is what I want to achieve. I want to achieve being the number one soccer player, the greatest of all time, right? And then we have three different types of what? Three different types of goal. We have the short-term goal, we have the midterm goal, and we have the long-term goal. So the short-term goal, they are the daily, weekly actions that you do. They are usually less than a year. Say, for example, oh, this term, I want to achieve A in my math grade. Oh, for my SAT, I want to achieve this spelling, this number of spelling before I go in for my SAT exams, right? I want to improve my spelling. I want to finish my homework, So these are short-term goals, something you can achieve in less than a year. You can achieve within the school term. You can achieve in 3 months, in 2 months, So we then have midterm goal. These are 1 to 3 years goal, right? They are stepping stones that lead to your long-term goal. Say, for example, you want to become the greatest artist, right? You could say, okay, I want to learn how to maybe use watercolor, or maybe how to use crayon beautifully well, that's within 3 years, depending on the duration, right? You could say, okay, I'm going to enroll in a music school because I want to become like Nathaniel Bassey or the Dunsi Oyeka or the Chandal Moore, You could say that is your goal, right? Which is long term. But what can you do, right? The midterm goal. What is that midterm goal? 1 to 3 years. Oh, I will go for music school within these 3 years. I would start with maybe training my voice, or maybe learning a guitar or an instrument, That is a midterm goal, usually between 1 to 3 years. And then your long-term goal, which is what every one of us has mentioned, that is our long-term goal. And this is usually within 5 to 10 years, which is your career or your major life achievement. Some people could say, I want to own a YouTube channel that is number one. Some people could say, I want to write a book, right? Some people could say, I want to become the best podcaster, I want to become a doctor like we've shared. Oh, I want to design a video game or, those are long-term goals. I want to become a gymnast. I want to become the best mathematician, whereby I earn a PhD. These are long-term goals. Usually takes you 5 to 10 years because it will involve you going to school, going for different professional certifications, going through internship, So we have short-term goal, mid-term goal, and long-term goal. Okay, so it's just like, when you're playing a video game, right? The video game, there are levels, right? So that is how it is. You have the short-term, mid-term, long-term goal. So there are levels as well. There are steps that you need to take. I'm going to just take a peek at the chart. Okay, so Active Tiara says I'm in grade 4, almost in grade 5. Faithful Tifa, I'm in grade 2, almost in grade 3. Thank you. And Organized Oluwakumu says I'm in grade 7 and grade 2, going to grade 8. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. So yeah, so now we know what the goal is, what you want to achieve. We know that we have short-term, we have mid-term, and we have long-term goal. And most of the things we've shared falls within the long-term goal, right? And some of us, like maybe being an artist, it could be within the midterm because there is no limit to what you can achieve. You can start being that best artist from now, where your name will be in the Guinness Book of Record to say the best artist, the best 10-year-old boy is an artist, like Creative Eri, the best 10-year-old. And then we read about you in the Guinness Book of Records. So I could say maybe that's a midterm goal for you. You could achieve this between 1 to 3 years if you begin to practice it now. If you create a plan around that, you could be known as the best best artist now. Also, those who want to become a gymnast, you could start now, right? You could achieve this within 1 to 3 years if you take it seriously. Okay, so all of this that we've mentioned, we could achieve it within 1 to 3 years. And for some of us, long term, like those who want to become prime minister, right? It could take 5 to 10 years, right? Because you need to become of age before you could say, I want to participate in politics. 18 years, right? Depending on the country you're in. But we in the Western world, at least 18 years. You need to be 18 for you to say you want to become a prime minister, right? So, yeah, Active Tiara, I see your ends up, but I would come to you, okay? Okay, so can you share your thoughts? Active Tiara, what do you want to share with us?
I will also want to be a gymnast, and I can do a roundoff.
You can do it. Thank you so much. Yes. So like I said, you could achieve this within the next 1 to 3 years if you put it to work, if you put it to practice, if you put in the effort. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So why do we set goals? When we set goals, just like we heard from Excellent Excel, it helps us to prioritize, right? Instead of we watching, wasting our time on movies or shows that are not encouraging or profiting, right? It will help us prioritize and say, oh, this is my goal. I want to become a doctor. I have to study. I want to become the best gymnast. I have to study. I want to become creative. I want to become the best artist. I have to study. The best soccer player. I have to practice. So it helps you prioritize, helps you stay focused, right? And it encourages self-discipline. You take responsibility for your actions, right? And they increase your confidence, just like we had from Excellent Excel. It grows confidence that, yeah, I'm going to confront this. I can do my SAT. Now that I've practiced, now that I have my goal set, I've practiced, right? I can face these SAT exams and I'm not afraid. So they increase your confidence and they keep you motivated to achieve success. That's the whole essence of we setting our goals. You don't waste time on frivolities because you believe, oh, this is what I want to go. You already have it set before you, right? You have the plans that before I eat, just like Excellent Excel, before I have my dinner, before I go to bed, I have to practice 20 words, right? So if when he comes back from school, instead of him just sitting down and playing PS5, playing games, he would say, oh, I have a target. And then he goes for it. So it keeps you focused. It keeps you focused and help you to be self-disciplined, right? Even when your friends are saying, oh, let's go play. Yes, it's good to play, but you have something ahead of you. You have a SAT exam ahead of you, right? So because you have that goal set, you have a plan, it helps you to do what? To stay focused, right? And what? You are able to achieve success. Okay, so that's the essence of setting goals. So I have a case study here. We have Mia and we have JD. So we have a goal setter and we have someone who does not set goal. And then Mia, right? Mia, she is thoughtful, organized, and curious. She likes knowing where she's going and how to get there. But Jaden is bright, is energetic, but is easily distracted. He wants to do well, but he doesn't have a plan. Both of them are 10 years old. They're in the same class. They have the same teacher. They give themselves to homework. You know, they are given the same homework, right? And both of them says, "Oh, I want to be good in school. I want to be the best," right? But they have different approach to their goals. And then Mia thought, "I want to improve my math grade." So they had goals, right? Mia said, "Oh, I want to improve my math grade from 70 to 85 by the end of the term." And then she did what? She wrote it down. Then she practiced 20 minutes every day. She also asked her teacher for help and she tracked her scores. But Jaden, he only says, "Oh, I hope I pass my math job." You know, he didn't write it down. He only studies a night before the test, gets distracted by games, by TV. He doesn't ask for help, even when things look difficult or confused. And he doesn't even track anything, whether he's doing well or he's not doing well. He doesn't know. When Jaden gets 68% in his scores, he would say, "I'm just bad at math. I'm just bad at English. I don't think I'm good." But for Mia, when she scores 75 on the quiz, she would smile and say, "I think I'm improving." Remember? She used to score 70, right? But now she scores 75. She's like, "Oh, I'm improving. I'm getting closer to my 85% goal that I had set," right? But Jaden would say, "I'm just bad at math. I don't think I can improve," you know? Then when Mia hits a challenge, she would look at her mistake, right? Just like we spoke about growth mindset. She would look at her mistake, adjust her study plan and say, "I think I need to do better. I think I need to read more. I think that 5 minutes a day is not working for me. Let me do 10 minutes." Then she asks questions and she keeps practicing. She never relents. She believes, remember our belief system, that mistakes help me learn. And that's what a growth mindset does for us. It helps us see mistakes as an opportunity to grow. But for Jaden, when things get hard, he will be like, "Oh, he's frustrated." He blames his teacher or the test and say, "Oh, my teacher didn't explain well to me. Oh, the test was difficult." You know, he stops trying and then tells himself, "Well, maths is not my thing. Please, I don't think I can do it anymore." He gives up. At the end of the term, remember, Mia was the goal setter. Jaden did not have any goal. Jaden practiced or he studies a day before the test, but Mia, she studies every time. At the end of the term, you know what happened? Mia had a growth mindset. Jaden had a fixed mindset. Can you see? Mia believes she can improve, but Jaden believes he can't improve. So what happens at the end of the term? Mia's test rose from 70 to 83%, even though she had a goal of 85%. She was able to achieve a progress, right? She improved in class. She improved her score. And she was proud and confident that "I can do it. If I can achieve this, then there is nothing too difficult for me to achieve." And she learns to be disciplined and to stay consistent, right? Even though she didn't achieve her 85%, she grew a lot and her effort paid off. But for Jaden, he still stayed around the 68 to 70% he had. He becomes discouraged so easily. And he wondered why nothing changed. Why would he change? Because he didn't put in the effort. He didn't have a plan. So Jaden may be talented, but without goals, his efforts don't have a direction. And we don't want to be like that, right? We want to have a plan. Just like Mia, right? Whatever we want to achieve, once we have a plan, we are able to achieve it. Even the Bible says, "Who is he that wants to build a house and does not first sit down and think, what do I need to achieve this house?" You know, to be able to build a beautiful house that everyone sees, right? So as empowered kids, we need a plan. You want to achieve that dream that you have all spoken about, you need to write it down. Don't let it be vague, such that it's just in your head. Put it down, right? And that's why we are here. How do we set our goals? Our goals should be smart, specific, I want to become a doctor. Measurable? Achievable? Yes, being a doctor is achievable. How are you going to track your success? That's measurable. Is it relevant to your dream? Right? And it has to be time bound. By the end of this term, this is what I want to achieve. By the end of first semester, this is who I want to become. So an example of a SMART goal, I want to read 10 books within the next 6 months. You see, 10 books, the person is specific, right? There is a time to read 6 months. And is it achievable? Yes, it is achievable. If you can break it down into small steps. Okay? So practical applications of setting a goal. How do I set a goal? We already said that our goal must be SMART. It must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be relevant to your bigger long-term goal of being a doctor, right? Of being a gymnast, of being an artist, of being the best soccer player, of being the best mathematician, right? Of being the prime minister, of being the president, right? So first thing first is what? That big dream of being a doctor. Break it down, right? So the first thing is you have a dream. What do you want? I want to be a prime minister. I want to be the best soccer player. You already have that dream. So the next thing for you to do is make it clear, right? Make it clear. Break it down. Make it clear. Instead of, I want to be good at maths, I want to improve my maths grade from 70% to 85%. I want to become the prime minister when I am of age or at 30 years. Yes, you can say it that way. When I am 30 years old, I want to become the prime minister. So that means that when you are 18, the age of being participating in politics, you can do what? You can get your voter's card, register to join a party, right? One of the parties, maybe conservative, democratic, you know, that's just an example. So you have to make it clear. At age 40, this is what I want to be. At age 40, I want to retire being the best soccer player. So that means before the age of 40, you need to have achieved being that number one soccer player that you're dreaming to be, right? So you need to make it clear. Instead of saying, I want to be good at maths, how do you want to improve? Is it that you get 50 now? So I want to improve at maths by getting 100%. I want to move from 50% to 100%. I want to move from C to C to A, because that's the goal. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want to achieve. A's. I want you to have A's, 100%, 95%, 99%. That's the range I want you to be as empowered kids, okay? And then you break it down. What small steps can I begin to take, right? Just like I told you about the prime minister scenario, right? I say, okay, when I'm 18, I want to join a party. But from now, I need to begin to follow politics, right? To have an understanding of how it works within United States or Canada or Nigeria or UK, depending on where you are, right? You want to become a doctor. So break it down. What small step can I begin to take now? Can I maybe I'll begin to read science books, I begin to read books about health to understand the health of people, how the body works, right? Maybe I'll give myself, maybe whenever I go to the library, maybe once a week, I'll go to the library, read something related to health, right? Every week. That way you are building your knowledge of how being a doctor works, how our body works, so that when you get to school, when you begin to get deep into those doctor languages, those science things, you understand. You say, yes, I read it one time. Yes, I can remember. Right? You want to become a creative artist, right? Look at it. What small step can I begin to take? Is it that I'll keep practicing, or I need to enroll in an artist school? I want to learn how to become, I want to become a musician. Or what can I begin to do? Should I start from learning guitar, or I should start training my voice? When I start training my voice, how many minutes can I devote in a day? So you break it down. What small steps can you begin to take? And remember, you need to attach a timeline to it. At the end of the term, at the end of 5 years, by the age of 30, by the age of 18, by the age of 10, I want to have my own podcasts. At the age of 10, I want to have my YouTube channel. At the age of 10, I want to have won 10 awards as the best speller, you know, as the best spelling bee participant. You have to put a timeline to it and be accountable. Talk to mommy and daddy about it. Talk to your friends about it. Let them hold you accountable to that goal, right? Let them hold you accountable, you know? And one thing I will share with you that I know of, one of my mentors will say, if you know you are finding difficult to achieve that goal, one thing you can do is that you can give a friend something that you feel is very expensive for you. Say, for example, I as an adult, right, I could transfer maybe some money to a friend and say, okay, I want to transfer $1,000 to you. If I don't write this book by the end of this year, take my money, right? You as well could say, oh, I think I love PS5. Let me give it to mommy and say, mommy, if I don't achieve this goal at the end of this, if I don't have an A at the end of the term, please don't give me that PS5 anymore. Just sell it, right? But because you love PS5, what will you do? You want to stick to it, right? You will stick to your goal because you want to get that PS5. So be accountable. Tell people about your goal so that they can help you achieve it. And then, like I said, track your progress. Every week or every month, look at it. How am I progressing? Am I doing well? Do I need to improve? You know, what do I need to do here? Right? And also, as you are reviewing your progress, learn. If you are not doing well, what is happening here? What can I do better? And remember, don't quit. If you see you're not doing well, you're not doing great, maybe you had set it for a daily goal, but then you see that today you did not do it. On Monday, you were not able to achieve that goal. On Tuesday, you were not able to study. Wednesday, don't quit. Keep going. The moment you remember, pick it up again and keep going. It's not too late. Don't give up. And once you achieve that goal, like I always say, celebrate your success. Acknowledge you have achieved it and reward yourself. Okay? Reward yourself. You could say, okay, I'm just going to chill, like take an ice cream, you know, just enjoy yourself. You could say, oh, I'll reward myself with going to the park. You know, you could say, I reward myself by having fun time with my sister or my mom, you know, just celebrate yourself. Okay. So now I'm going to show us. So this is an example of a goal, right? See, this simple goal says, I will improve my spelling score from 7 correct to 15 correct spellings by the end of the month. The person is specific that I want to achieve from 7 correct to 15 correct spellings. And then by the end of the month. That's not a vague goal, right? And the person said, I will practice 10 minutes every day, right? And then write tricky words and also ask for help. And when the person achieves it, on Monday, ticks it. Tuesday, ticks it. Wednesday, ticks it. You see? So you have to track your progress. Okay. For example, financial goal. I want to save money to buy something I really like, say a new backpack or a toy. Okay. How do I want to achieve it? I want to achieve it by 31st of August, 2026. How will I do it? I'll save $5 every week. When mommy gives me money for lunch, I will save some of it, right? And then how will I know I've achieved it? When I've saved $40, then I know that what? I've achieved it, right? So now we're going to move into our activity. So based on everything I've said, right, I want you to write down. So we're going into our activity now. I'm going to give us 5 minutes to think through. You're going to write this down in your journal, and I will give one or two of us moment to share, right, what you wrote down and how you wrote it, okay? So Creative Eri, I see your hands up. You have a question, I believe.
It's just for the activity.
You say?
It's for the activity.
Is what?
It's for the activity.
Like yeah, it's for the activity. Okay.
So, like, my goal is to learn French.
Your goal is to learn French, okay? Yeah, so I want you to write it down, right? So now this activity in your journal, you write it. My goal is to write. So write it down in your journal, okay? So I want us to do this now. You're going to put this in your journal. My goal is this. I will achieve it by this. One small thing I can do, this, right? I need help from. So you write it down in your journal, because at the end, you're going to, your time starts now. I want you to begin. So at the end of the program, I'm going to show you like a QR code. I know you can't scan it, but in your assessment, the document I'll be sharing with your parent, they would be able to download, they'll be able to download the template. I have a goal setting book, right? You would download the template and then be able to break it down very well. But for now in the class, for this activity, I want you to write this down so that by the time you're breaking it down, right, in that template, you already have an idea of what you're working with. Okay, so begin now. You have the next 3 minutes. Okay, Brilliant Champion Israel, what's your question?
I have already set 2 goals.
Okay, yeah, so now you can then break it down. I'm sure the way you wrote it, did you break it down like my goal is this, I will achieve it by this, one small thing I can do is this? Do you have that written down? Okay, and do you have I need help from? Do you know who you need help from to achieve that goal? Do you have that written down?
No.
Okay, so you want to add that. Okay. All right, thank you. So you have 2 minutes more, everyone. So I want you to write that goal down. What is your goal? And then when do you want to achieve it by? Do you want to achieve it by the end of the term? Do you want to achieve it by the end of 2026 or 2027? Or you want to achieve it at the age of 10 or the age of 20 or 25, or 30? I want you to be your most important goal, okay? Something that is pressing in your heart to achieve, okay? And what is that small thing you can begin to do from today? Okay, what is that thing that you can begin to do? Is it that you're going to practice 5 minutes every day? Is it that you're going to enroll into a class, a training? Is it that you have to go to the library and begin to pick a book, or you need to talk to a counselor about it? Just what is that one small thing that you can begin to do? And who do you need help from? Do you think you can do it alone, or you need your mom's support, or the support of your dad, or the support of your teacher, or your brother? I want you to write it down. I want you to write that down. And then we're going to take a minute to share. So you have 1 more minute. Okay? 1 more minute. So when you have your template, you can then expand on it. It has so many questions for you. So you just expand on it. Okay? So we have about 30 seconds more. Okay. About 30 seconds more. And then we begin to share. I'm just going to choose about, let's say, 2 people to share with us. So if you're ready, just raise your hands and then I would share with you and you would share with us what you have written down. Okay. Organize Oluwakumi. Thank you. Yeah. So I have my 2 people. So Organize Oluwakumi and Active Tiara. Okay. Organize Oluwakumi.
My goal is to learn Spanish. I will achieve it by practicing what I already know in Spanish and listening to my Spanish teacher in my Spanish class. One small thing I can do is practice every day or make small sentences by what I already know in Spanish. I need help. I might need help from my Spanish teacher, asking Jesus to help me, and researching some Spanish stuff.
Thank you. But there is one thing missing. You did not put a time to it. When do you want to achieve that by?
Oh, I can achieve it by maybe like by 5 p.m.
No, like do you want to achieve it by the end of this year,
Oh,
or by August, or when do you want to achieve it by?
by the end of this year, like next year.
By the end of 2027, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you say you want to practice, how often do you want to practice? How many minutes per day, or is it weekly? You have to be able to specify. You understand? How often do I want to practice? Okay. So this is a feedback for you. So that means you need to work on it, right? You still need to work on your goals. So you need to specify, do I want to practice this daily or weekly? And if daily or weekly, how many minutes per day do I want to devote to this? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And also specify, you said 2027. When in 2027? Right? So you need to be specific as well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Active Tihara.
So, me and Tiff are sharing goals. So my goal is to learn to be a fashion designer and learn fashion. I will achieve it by enrolling in a class. One thing I can do is practice after school. I will get help from my mom. She will teach me fashion. I want to achieve it by 2027 to 2028 in summer break.
Okay. So you want to achieve it by 2027, 2020. So that is when you know that you would be confident enough to maybe design your own clothes, or, is that it? Is that what you're saying?
No. Kind of.
Kind of. Okay, so that means you still need to think through this. When exactly do you want to practice this, right? When do you want your mom to begin to teach you? So are you saying this summer of 2026, it's going to be like summer things, right? Or is it weekly things? Maybe during the weekends, mommy would teach me, how many minutes do you want to devote to this, right? So you need to add a time to it. When do I want to achieve this by? When do I want to achieve this by that? I will be confident. And when Empowered Dami comes to Active Tife or Faithful Tiara and say, Faithful Tiara, I want to make a dress, you are confident that you can help me make that dress, right? So this is something you want to look into. Or is it a continuous thing that, okay, by the age of 15, I want to be able to make a dress, So you need to remember, we spoke about long-term goal, short-term goal, and mid-term goal. So this is something you still want to look into. Yes, you have started so well, right? But then you still need to be specific, okay?
What? So I am like basically learning to be a fashion designer. So then when I grow up, like I have so many ideas I want to be when I grow up. So then it's gonna be like one thing in mind. So then if I want to do it, I would already have the skill to do it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes. So yeah, it will help you later in the future. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So yeah, so when I share the template with you and your parents, like with your parent, then you would see the other questions you can respond to that would help you to actually, break down this goal and be able to achieve it by your timeline. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Wise David, you want to share with us?
My goal is to get better grades in my different subjects. I'll achieve it by studying a specific subject 10 minutes each day. One small thing I can do is listening to my teacher instead of getting distracted. I might need help from my mom and my dad, and I'll try and finish it by the end of this school term.
Thank you so much for sharing. So one thing I see that is missing is, you said you want to get better in your subjects. From what to what, right? So that's why you want to get better at your subject. So what stage are you at currently? And
From A, B to EX.
Okay, so that means you want to move from AB, I think, I can't remember how they use it. I think they use satisfactory to good and then to excellent. I believe that's how the grading works here in Canada. So yeah, so you want to move to excellent, right? So yeah, so you have to be specific at that and say, I want to move from maybe good to excellent. Right. And I love it by the end of this school term. When does the school term end? That's June, right? June 2026, right? So you have to still have those timelines. We have to be specific, all right? So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. I really love that. So this is just a starting point, okay? So when you get a template, break it down further, and then you can share with me we'll be having a one-on-one at the end of the program. So you can come along with it. We're going to discuss if we need to refine your goal. We would refine your goal. If you need any support, I would be there to provide support. Okay. So this is a good starting point for you guys. You can build on it. Okay. When you get home after the class, you can build on it. Think about other things that you want to achieve. Set goals for them. Make a plan for them and begin to run with it. Okay. So in conclusion, a student without clear goals grows faster than a student who only wishes, I wish I could achieve A, right? But when you set your goals, you have a clear path to success, okay? So your goals give you direction, they give you motivation, okay? You just need a plan to achieve it. Whatever it is you have set your heart to achieve. And most importantly, commit your goals to God, right? It's not by strength. We can easily get tired. But as you set your goal, commit it to God and say, God, I need you to help me with this goal. Help me to achieve it. Help me to put in the effort that I need to put in, okay? So now together, I want you to say with me, Dear God,
Dear God,
Dear God,
as I set my goals,
as I set my goals,
empower me,
empower me
to document
to document
in line with your will
in line with your
for
will
me.
for me.
Empower me and
Empower me.
grant me the grace
Give me the grace
to achieve
to
all
achieve
that I will document.
all that I will document.
Amen. So I
Amen.
want every one of you, as you write it down, commit it to God, because He's the one who would give you strength. Things will come your way that might discourage you, but don't give up, okay? Thank you, everyone, for joining. Okay, I would share the QR code or the links to the goal setting template with your parent. Please feel free to ask mom and dad and say, Mom, please download the template for me. Okay, so download it and then use it to document your goals. And the Lord strengthens you and helps you to achieve all that He has put in your heart to achieve. I will see you next week. Thank you, everyone, for showing up.